It is April 4th and I have already read all of this so far this month. So I thought, instead of leaving it till the end of the month and then getting mad at myself and it being too overwhelming and then I don't end up filming my reading vlog, why not have a go at doing like weekly or group them, smaller subset something. Why have I decided to do 4 days worth? Well, I kind of thought in my head doing about 20 volumes would be good. I do think I have 22 here exactly, but close enough. Plus we are doing a reading day in a couple of days. I intend on doing like a vlog of that day as well. Though maybe I should have filmed this tomorrow night. Anywho, we're here now. So yeah, something I have struggled with my reading vlogs is if I read too much and I have too much to say, I just put off filming it because it just takes too long. It's an issue I had with my ranking tier list of all the volume 1s that I read in a year. It just takes so long because I read a lot. So what I really need to do is just break it down and film in shorter bursts, and that is my hope for having a space like this. New room, new desk. It's easier to do that. For me though, this is still quite an extraordinary amount of reading. Mostly it's been down to I've not been very well. I'm still not feeling very well, but thankfully it's not my head. Usually when I get sick it affects my head and I can't read. It's not my head this time. And I don't know, I've had this like thirst. I wanted to read so bad and I'm taking it in. I'm not really like getting distracted when I'm reading. I'm not really finding it slow, even ones I'm like less interested in. I'm still getting through. Don't really know why. I'm not going to question it too much or too closely because I'm quite happy about it. But without any more yapping, let's go through what I've read. We're going to start from oldest to newest, to the stack from the bottom up. You can't see the bottom. I was feeling pretty romancy at the start of the month, so a lot of what I read like on the first day or so was pretty heavily leaning towards romance. So the first I read was In Another World, My Sister Stole My Name, volume 4. So at the end of volume 3 we have this cliffhanger where the guy has basically realised that she's actually the girl who had been talking to him through the mirror, not her sister. And they have this like conversation. He also confesses and also is like, he'd also been lying about his name as well. And there's like a whole bunch of just like confession, explanation. And now everyone, the two main characters now know who the other one is and everything is like smooth between them. But no one else, I think, knows really who like anyone is properly. And I think I like the story, I like the series. My issue is it's like 120 pages. They confess to each other, they now know who they are. There was a couple of bits about they need to go and help solve some bad magic that's causing issues somewhere else. And then that's it. That's pretty much the volume. Gone and wrapped up, and now I've got to wait another like 6 to 8 months for another one. It's one of the most infuriating things I'm finding with, I'm gonna say isekai, I don't think it's just isekai, but some of these like romance and isekai series, when they get like yearly releases, it personally really kills some of the story for me, even if the story is good, after just that momentum. And then you're like in a tricky like scenario place of I want to buy the volume to support it, but I don't want to read it until I have a few more because I'm not enjoying reading it one at a time. So what do you do? What do you do? I always say I'm going to hold off and build a bunch and then I don't. I just read them anyway and get annoyed. Next we have volume 1. We have a lot of volume 1s. I hadn't realised how many volume 1s I've been reading. Basically some of my recent unboxings and hauls I have stacked on the other side of my desk and I've been staring at them throughout manhwa month and I'm like, I can't wait till I'm going to stick with my eyes pressing my manhwa, but as soon as it's over I'm going to start diving into this pile, and boy have I've almost cleared the pile down. I'm so pleased with myself. Anywho, we have Perfectly Fine on My Own, So My Fiancé Can Twist in the Wind. I don't understand the subtitle, So My Fiancé Can Twist in the Wind. I don't know if that's like a polite way of telling him he can do one, basically. I was also quite amused that the description on the back describes it as perfect for Bridgerton fans and anyone who's tired of playing second fiddle. Just amused seeing Bridgerton on like as this like you might like it if you like this. Basic premise is, I don't think it's like fantasy really, it's just sort of this, what's the word? Nobility school kind of deal-a-rooney, elite academy, where this girl here is engaged to this guy here, but she believes that he is actually in love with the princess of their country. Hello Yuna. He is like her personal guard and is like sworn like loyalty to her and is like, I'm gonna look after you, and constantly like puts off meeting with his fiancée to go and spend time with the princess. And when he does spend time with his fiancée, he just talks about the princess, and she, fairly rightfully, believes this to mean that he has feelings for the princess and doesn't really want to be engaged to her just because he can't marry the princess. The story kind of starts with her being like, I am happy and content. I don't need him. I'm happy and perfectly okay on my own. I can find comfort and joy in my own company. And if need be, we can get married and have a marriage of convenience where like, yeah, they're married in name, but also mostly they just do their own thing. It does come to light throughout the volume, or volume 1, that is not technically the case. Yes, the guy loves the princess, but not in that way. They are very close childhood friends, and he basically doesn't really see her as a woman. He just sees her as his friend. And because of the way he's grown up, he has had no experience around women and doesn't really know how to treat or talk to them. So instead of spending time with his fiancée, he just runs away and hides because he doesn't know how to talk to her. And the people around them are like coming to terms, and they're realizing, hearing the way she's talking, they're like, you've messed up, you need to make this right. She doesn't think you love her. And he's like, well, of course I do. Why does she think that? And everyone's like, well, do you ever spend time with her? And he's like, no. So now everyone's bullying him and trying to get her to understand it's just not going well, because she's so like set and realized that this is, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm content, I don't need him. But that's not the case. It's just horrific miscommunication, misunderstanding, and him being a bit of a knob. And I'm fairly amused at the whole him now trying to prove himself to her because she's misunderstood because he can't communicate. And I quite liked it because she's so like certain and happy in herself as well. And all the people around her are trying to like support her as well once they've realised, actually no, he's a big terrible person who has treated you terribly. You can A, do better, and B, he needs to like make it up to you in some capacity. So I enjoyed this one, I look forward to more. Betrothed to My Sister's Ex Volume 1. She is treated terribly by her family. Think like Cinderella style. She lives in rags, has to clean everything up. And she's been told repeatedly by her parents that she is ugly, she is worthless, no one will ever want her, she needs to know her place. And at this party, she runs into this guy who is, I think he's like a duke, count of another kingdom, and they kind of get on well. And he then sends a marriage request over, but for her sister. And then en route to her sister heading over to the kingdom, the carriage falls off a cliff and she passes away. Her parents freaking out and then send her over because they were going to earn a load of money. They were getting money for this basically. They send her over and they arrive and he's like absolutely distraught. He's like, no, I don't care about her. Get rid of her, get rid of her, get rid of her. And then she walks in the room and he like stops. It turns out he'd mixed the sisters up. She was the one he wanted to marry, but he mixed the names up and had sent a marriage request for the other sister. Explains a bit more why it gets gotten mixed up. I was a bit confused. They explain a bit better like twice throughout the volume and I understood it by the end. And then once she's there's a lot of basically him and his staff trying to convince her that, actually no, you are very pretty, you are worthwhile, your parents are absolutely terrible people who've been abusing you your whole life. And she's like, oh, I don't know if I'd put it that far. A series like this, I can and I do enjoy them. It depends a bit on how long it takes the main character to gain a bit more confidence. She is rightfully very downtrodden, and I think I need to see it pick up a bit. If she's downtrodden for a long time, I think I'll enjoy it less, but if we start seeing some confidence, it's kind of similar to like My Happy Marriage in I need to see the female character gain a bit of confidence to enjoy it more. Otherwise, I just feel more down myself. I don't want to feel down while I'm reading. But I am enjoying all the staff and the guy, just like all these positive affirmations. Everyone's telling her she's great, and he is completely head over heels for her, and is really awkward about it. It's quite cute. I think at least for now, I'm going to stay up to date with it, give it a few more, and see my thoughts then. My student is a hunk. Okay, so many content warnings. Let's start with like the big obvious one. There is a massive age gap in this story. we have some flashbacks, but the main brunt of the story takes place when she is 35 and he is 18. And I think he's like just 18. The story is she is like a private English tutor. She tutors children like primary school age basically. And this kid is like, I'm gonna marry you one day. And she's like, ha ha ha, no, you need to be grown up. And he's like, how grown up? And she's like, I don't know, 18. And he takes that to heart. He takes that seriously. So like the day he turns 18, or not long after he turns 18, he turns back up on her doorstep and is like, cool, let's get married. And at first she's like telling him to go away, but not enough in my opinion. yeah, and then yeah. I think it was a plastic wrapped volume. Some slight spoilers, I suppose. Any of these could potentially have spoilers for the volumes I'm talking about, by the way. Use the timestamps along to jump along if you don't want to hear. It's not explicit, but there is some bits. There's also a lot of mature talking, mature discussion. The bit I disliked the most was the flashbacks to when he was younger, not just when he was 8 years old, because I think it's meant to be like a 10-year gap from when they've known each other. Not just when he was 8, there's a few later on. I don't think it makes it any better. And there is some like things talked about in relation to when he was younger that I kind of wish they'd not done. It made it much weirder. It made it much weirder. I don't really think I'd recommend this one. Yeah, I think there is only one volume out. I don't think there's even any more out in Japan from when I last had a little gander for my spreadsheet. That was definitely something I read. Hitting rewind with you, volume 1, new series, Caketinz. It is super cutesy. Basically, this girl, she is in university. She's 20, I think, and she feels like she wasted her teenage years because she didn't really go on any like high school dates, really going on dates in school uniform. So for Halloween, she decides to dress up in her school uniform and hit like, I don't know if it was like a market or a festival. What does it say? It doesn't say, but it was like something, and she was going around in a school uniform. And she bumps into a guy also in his high school uniform, and they kind of start going on a date-ish. They're on a bit of a date, and then they get pulled up by a police officer who sees their IDs, and it turns out it becomes apparent to both of them that they were both university students, both dressed up in high school uniforms for Halloween. I think they even they go to the same university or school or whatever they call it. And they both realise that actually they kind of had some fun together and they'd like to do it again, and they agree to go out on some more dates in their high school uniforms to like, try and relive or make up for the like high school dates that they didn't really experience. Overall, it was really, really sweet. It was really cutesy. If you are kind of a fan of like mushy, cute romances, you'd probably enjoy it. I think one of my criticisms is more, it feels like their relationship's rushing quite a bit. I mean, he makes some comments later on about how, oh, this is just like you, or things like, I could see you doing this, and it's like, isn't this like your third time or second time together? Have you really known each other long enough to be able to make comments like that? I think that's about it though, but yeah, it's very nice. I think I'll still stay up to date for a few more volumes. I'll see how long it is. If it turns out to be really long, I might drift away. I feel like I could see these in the sale sections. I mean, I'd still like to read it and collect it. It's just how quickly do I do that? Love at First Memory, Volume 1, another new series. So this woman is like the heir to a big, fancy, lots of money conglomerate or whatever. And she has ended up in an accident and she's lost her memory. And she's now trying to remember which of the men around her is the one that she said that she was going to marry. We can see on the back, they are the four guys, and we've also got one of them on the cover as well. I had a look, it is also 5 volumes complete, which I'm kind of glad about. I'm kind of looking forward to like a short and sweet, umphy kind of story. I'm assuming we're gonna get her getting close with each of the characters, each of the guys, and like learning, re-loving relearning who it is that she fell in love with. There is very obviously one of them that is pushing her towards over any of the others, but I'll still take and enjoy the story and the ride to see like what happened basically. Yeah, complete at 5 volumes. I'm going to stay up to date with this one for sure as well. First Love Reunion. A decade later, my high school crush is determined to make me his. It is a one-shot from Tokyo Pop. I was kind of saddened that it was a one-shot. I think I'd have been happy if this was like 3-4 volumes maybe. These two characters went to high school together. To be fair, it is as the title says. They both kind of had a crush on each other at high school, and a decade later at their reunion they meet up, reconnect, start dating, and yeah, really isn't too much more to the story. They don't really have enough time to experience like any drama or anything. They move in together, they have a nice time. There's a bit of misunderstanding and miscommunication at the end, but it is resolved within not very many pages because they don't have very many pages. But it is also a smutty volume. They go to town and it is not plastic wrapped, so be warned of that. Which I think there's probably more pages of them going at it than there is of like them having proper deep conversations. It was a fun volume. I potentially would recommend if you see it discounted. I wouldn't go for it full price because it is a one-shot, but it's not that deep. But it was pleasant. I liked it. Ayaka is in love with Hiroko, volume 1. This is a GL from Tokyo Pop. It is an office romance. Well, romance is a bit loose at the moment. They're still in the miscommunication phase. She is head over heels in love with her, obsessed. Literally trying to do everything she can to get her to notice her. She thinks she's straight and is just an oblivious woman who doesn't realise how much she's attractive to her, and that the things she's saying could be misconstrued to suggest that she's romantically interested in her. And she's like, yes, that is literally what I mean. And she's like, I think you need to rethink what you're saying because it could come across funky. And she's like, no, you're just not listening. Is basically volume 1. Though at the end of volume 1, it comes a little bit more clear when she runs into her at a gay bar. She's like, do you know this is a gay bar? And she's like, yes, but this is for people interested in women. Yes, I am interested in women. Oh, is the end of volume 1. Pretty cute. I've quite liked it. I haven't checked how many volumes this one is actually yet. I feel myself more drawn to GL where they don't look so young, and also getting one they're not in high school. They're my two criteria, GL where they don't look super young and they're not in high school. So I did like this one. I'll be staying up to date with this one as well. Next we have No Garden Eden 3. I read 1 and 2 in December. I don't think I actually ever got around to filming my December reading vlog, or my November. Or August. I don't remember why I didn't do August. Anywho, it is like a world's first Omegaverse couple. They don't really know what they're doing or what's going on. I thought the story kind of concluded in volume 2. Turns out it's going a bit further. We can see we've got volume 3 and I think there's at least a volume 4. Don't know if it's complete or 4 though. Anywho, this volume felt a little bit like a volume to carry the story on, but there wasn't a huge amount of stuff that happened. Volumes 1 and 2, they were going at it like rabbits in the cupboard storage unit, wherever they were. And they've come out and it's like they're now trying to sort of reacclimatise to being in school and around other people while also experiencing whatever they're experiencing, because no one knows. And they head off onto this study group thing somewhere with school, and it looks like another heat has hit the poor guy, and we're trying to resolve that by the end of this volume. I think I'm enjoying it. I kind of like the whole premise of like world's first megaverse. Like, what's going to happen? What's happening to the world? Are there going to be others? Is it just these two? Who knows? Well, someone who's read further than I probably does. I also love the vibrant colours of the volumes. Desperately. I hope 4 is green or yellow. How to deal when your intimidating neighbour is actually an Omega 2. This is another one where it was a one-shot. I don't think there is a number on the first one. I could be wrong. I can't check right now. It's not to hand. And then we've got a sequel. We've got a 2. At least this one's got a 2 and they've not given it a subtitle or anything. Disgusting. I really liked volume 1. I think volume 2 was okay. Again, not a huge amount really happened. Some really cutesy stuff. They were really cute together. There wasn't really much going on otherwise. They boned a bit. He went into heat. They were apart for a bit. They missed each other. They had to spend time together because one of their heaters broke and they couldn't get hot water. Really quite nice. But again, I don't know if I'm going to rush to grab any more. If there is more, I don't know. It does say in the back that they were asked if they could also do a volume 3. Yeah, I don't know yet. I'll go see. If it's complete at 3, I'll grab it. If it's not, I might hold off for some sales. Magical Girl Dandelion Volume 1, a new series from Shoujo B. I really, really liked this one. It was probably been one of my favorites. I was going to say one of my favorites so far of the month. It's the 4th. Of the pile, the mass that I have read, it's been one of my favorites so far. It is so cute. It's so over the top. I love the magical girl transformation. I like the whole intrigue with shades and the fighting's all fun, shouting the moves. I haven't really read too much Magical Girl series. I've started reading Sailor Moon and I have found it a little slow to get through. I'm going to finish it in May. I'm going to finish Sailor Moon in May. I didn't finish it last May, but I'm going to finish it this May. But there isn't really many more I've read, so I was quite excited to go into this one and there has been a lot of hype and excitement for it. And so far, I kind of agree. I really, really liked this one. It's a shame they're quite thin. Also, I don't think it's been going that long in Japan, so I don't think it's going to take us that long to catch up, unfortunately. Hey ho. Hey ho, I still look forward to my volumes. I will be staying up to date with this one. Next we have volumes 3 and 4 of Snow Angel, and this completes the series. It's complete at 4. We got a big old final volume on the back of volume 4. I hope that focused. We kinda wrapped an arc, I feel, in volume 2 and started a fresh one in volume 3. It all kind of slightly ties in together, but then also doesn't. So I feel the first 2 volumes was a lot about our female character coming to terms with the expectations of care that were placed upon her for her family and looking after her grandparents and her mum and helping around the house, and it affecting just her ability to live and do her own thing. I feel we kind of wrapped that in volume 2 / the start of volume 3, and now we moved into a new arc in volume 3 or 4, 3/4, where she's followed the guy that she grew up with as a friend. She's followed him to Tokyo to spend some time with him, and you get some of his like inside thoughts as well, which is quite neat. And you hear him like he's basically trying to manipulate her to stay with him and realize that she's got feelings for him without him having to like outright say things and stuff, say it to her, sorry. Not that that lasts very long. I think it lasts like half a volume before we move on to the next thing, which is where he admits that he was the one who offed her dad when they were children. And then we get a flashback to like, I don't know, 6-year-old him hitting her dad and then him passing out in snow, and then turns out that he died, yeah. And he has been carrying the guilt of this for his entire life, and he has now decided that he is going to turn himself in because it's the right thing to do. He's managed to meet up with her again. He's giving her all the money he's ever earned from being a successful author and is like, this is my penance. You can now live out a good life and I'll turn myself in. Obviously, by the end of the series, again, still all major spoilers. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear, skip all ahead. Obviously, we figure out and learn that he did not off her dad. He was like a child who threw a box at him, and obviously that's not what offed him. He went off to the bar, drank too much, and then went and sat outside where it was like minus cold numbers. Did it to himself, basically. And everyone's like, see, you're fine. We can have a happily ever after. And that's basically it. I think I liked the first half more. That's not to say I didn't dislike the second half, these volumes. I think I definitely enjoyed the first couple of volumes more. The whole seeing inside her thoughts and the way it was represented in the volumes, I thought it was done really well, and I think it definitely got the point and the feelings across to the reader. I don't know, I think if they were good, if they just, the decision to do like a second like arc, I kind of wish it'd either run a little longer or they'd stretch the first one out. I'm not sure there was quite enough to justify it, but again, my personal opinion, you might have a different one. I would be interested to know other people's thoughts. I haven't seen or looked for anyone else's thoughts on the conclusion of the series yet. I really like to go in as blindly as I can to have an completely unbiased thought process on my reads, and then once I've read it, I like to go and read thoughts and opinions that aren't mine. Usually I do Instagram and Storygraph and YouTube, that's like my go-to, but I completely forgot to look for this one, so I'll be doing that after this. But if you have any, let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'd love to hear. Next we have his Sensual Whisper, the voice that sets me on fire 2. Now first, I was incredibly mistaken. I thought this was completed 2 volumes. This is not completed 2 volumes. There will at least be 1 more. I don't know how many more, but it just says see you in the next volume, basically, or to continue. To be continued. Yeah, it says to be continued. I had to scroll through so much smut to find that. Gosh, the end of that volume was just all smut. Now, I don't necessarily dislike this one, but it is one of the series that does blur a lot with some of the other steamship titles. It is a office romance. They meet each other at work, She has a thing for voices. She has been searching for his voice for years, having heard him on the phone a while back. And they start boning, and then there's emotions that fall into that as well. And again, it's not bad, it's a fine read. I'll keep reading my steamship, but it does blur. It is one of the ones that blurs. Dungeons That Surely Slaughter Adventurers, Volume 1. I quite liked this one. Basically, these two characters here have been isekai'd, but they've been isekai'd into a dungeon as staff. They are in charge of the upkeep of the dungeon, cleaning up after the monsters, the gore, the adventurers, restocking everything. That's what they have to do. And I am quite amused at the start. So they get isekai'd because a jet engine falls on them. Here is the jet engine. And they're talking to their staff member and they're like, how come we're not an adventurer? And the manager is like, word has it folks who get creamed by trucks are reborn as adventurers, while those who get pancaked by falling jet engines end up as dungeon staff. It's just super silly, and it's just super mega silly humour, and I really, really like it. What I will say though is the humour is quite adult in quite a few places, and there is probably definitely jokes that are very hit or miss and considered potentially insensitive. I would say it's not adult content or adult sexually explicit or anything like that, but it is adult jokes, maybe adult content. There's no smut, but they talk about that kind of thing, if that helps explain it. It is silly and dumb and dark and crude, all things to describe it. So it depends if you're up for that kind of thing. I would say even for me, some of the jokes are like, I don't think that's funny, that's just a bit mean. And then there were some where I was like, this is just atrocious. It's just, gosh. I like my dumb, silly, crude humour, so it was kind of up my alley. But yeah, there is also some, I would potentially look into some of the content warnings, or ask more questions of me outside of YouTube if you're interested. Once Upon a Witch's Death, Volume 1. This was interesting. It is about this witch whose mentor has told her, you're gonna die in a year, you've been cursed, and in 1 year's time, on your 18th birthday, you're gonna start aging rapidly, 10 years every day or something, or every few days. The only way to not die is to gain, or you need a seed of life, and a seed of life is you need to gather 1,000 tears of joy, or pure joy, something like that. And she's like, oh, the heck do I do that? It is quite similar to, in terms of like vibes, I feel, to Wandering Witch, Journey of Elena, in that we get quite like nice heartfelt stories with the main lead being a bit silly, a bit dopey, but there are some quite serious stories and they're still trying to do good as best they can. This is definitely a bit more on the humorous side compared to Wandering Witch, and a bit more silliness. Some of the art style, interestingly, is quite odd. I don't know the right way to describe it. It reminds me of like, it feels a bit more cartoony, like, yeah, like when the faces are drawn like that, or this sort of drawing. Look at the legs, like little bits of string. I think it's based on a light novel as well, but I'm not sure if the light novel has an English version in print. I haven't decided if I'm going to stay up to date yet. I might give it one more and think, because I don't think I enjoyed it as much as Wandering Witch of Elena. Also looks like it could be long. It's on like 5 or 6 light novels already, and I think the manga is also ongoing. Yeah, I haven't decided on this one yet. Okay. Lilia's pregnancy spells the end of the world. World's End, sorry, volume 1. Yeah. Interestingly, it is a ghost ship. I don't think it was plastic wrap. It's another one of those trying to force the male character to bone her, and because he has the good of the world in mind, he will refuse to do that, even though she is doing her darndest, hardest to make him. And there's so many of these sort of stories, and I don't ever feel like any of the characters are painted well, and I just feel I could do without them sometimes. Yeah, basically this guy was isekai'd as the hero. He helped defeat the demon lord, and then he was sent back home. It's not been that long since he was at home, so he's gonna just continue on with his life. And then is it the daughter or some relation to the demon lord has turned up to the other world, to Earth, and is like, if we have a child together, they will be super powerful and I can rebuild the demon king's army, basically. So he's like, well, no, can't let that happen because you'll destroy the world, so I can't have a child with you. But she is trying super hard to get him to sleep with her. And now someone else has turned up and is like, well, you could sleep with me as well. And that's basically the premise. I don't think it's very long. If it's a very short series, I'll pick them up in sale sections only. This is 100% going to be a sale section series. I mean, if you like these kind of things, like, what else is there? Witches of Adamas, Sodomi Milky Way are the two off the top of my head. Yeah, sure, you'll probably like this, but I'm not going to rave about it. Next we have Tamon's B-side volume 10, and I haven't filmed anything about what I read in January, but I did catch back up the series. I think I read 2 through 9 in a couple of days, and I have mild regrets on not waiting till I had volume 10 based on what happened in volume 10. I think leaving the gap meant I didn't enjoy this one as much. It's not to say I didn't enjoy it, I just think I'd have enjoyed it more if I'd read it with the rest of the volumes. What I will say about Tamon in general is, having watched a couple episodes of the anime in the Discord server, I do think it works better as an anime. I think some of the humour and the jokes, especially with the chibi-ness, the silliness, the like explosions and stuff, I think all works much better in the anime than it does in the manga. And I'm happy for this to be more of a me problem, because many things are me problems. I think some of the jokes don't hit as well for me in the manga because I can't fully tell quite what's happened. Whereas in the anime, you have the visual and the audio to like highlight that they've exploded because of like overhype or whatever. But regardless, volume 10 was a good volume. I did enjoy it. Finally, we're getting some mild progress between the two characters and their relationship. They've exchanged line information, they've been chatting. He keeps saying that they're close friends, and everyone's like, ew, it's more than friends, isn't it? You just don't know what term to put to it. And even she's starting to get annoyed, so much so that the end of volume 10 is her saying to him, yeah, okay, but what are we? What are we though? And then he freaks out a bit, and that's kind of the cliffhanger of the volume, but it's like finally asking the question. So I am already looking forward to volume 11. I haven't looked when it releases in English though. Next we have My Girlfriend's Not Here Today, volume 6. This is like a you love to hate it kind of series. No good characters in this except maybe the what's her name? Except maybe the friend, like from the netball, basketball, ball team, the friend with a hair clip. She might be one of the only good characters. Yuki? Is it Yuki? It has been a while since I read 5, but I do think like the character Fuko is like, no, not Fuko, Uni. Uni is like, I'm gonna stay with my girlfriend. Uni said she's gonna stay with a girlfriend and not spend time with Fuko, though that is not what's happened. She keeps spending time with her. Things keep going a bit-ish wrong. Then Uni starts getting jealous of the time that her girlfriend is spending with Yuki, and they get into a fight, and then like do they break up? I got really confused. Like she said they broke up, but then they didn't, and then a girlfriend like kind of makes this public slight declaration of love for her in public, and like you hear the internal thought, well you see the internal thought, sorry, of Uni being like, I hate this is not what I want, but doesn't want to say it out loud, and yeah, it's just such a hot mess. You read it for the hot mess. Oh, it's so messy. It's so drama-y. What a weird cover though, because there is kind of some like analogies made between these two about being mother and baby. Real weird. It's so weird. It's so messy and drama. Maybe give it a go. Next we have Beast King, Master of Medicines, Volume 1. Now, before I read it, I had seen a few people describe it as kind of like a similar to Saw in the House of Monsters, except instead of like building houses, they're healing monsters. I kind of see that. So in this story, humans and monsters have been fighting. The humans win. They kill off all of the monsters, and that's it. This human here, this girl on the front, she helps lead newbie adventurers into low-level dungeons to like train them, get them used to it, understand what they're doing. And in this dungeon, they accidentally wander upon a really strong monster that shouldn't be there. So she tells the adventurers to run away and she'll deal with it. But she nearly dies in the process. And then this big lion guy comes along and is like, I will heal you, but you have to sign this blood pact, this blood oath for me. And she's like, well, I'm gonna die, so yeah, okay, sure. Series of shenanigans occur, and then basically she decides to join him on his journey to try and just help heal monster kind and protect them from humanity. So she's like, all of my life I've been told that monsterkin and monster kind are just terrible, they're going to destroy humanity, there's no empathy or love in them, and we just need to dispose of them. And she's learning that maybe that's not quite true, and there maybe is some good she can do to help try and ease liaisons and help look after monsters, and they're like going around healing monsters. It's really quite nice. It's definitely a bit like darker and a bit more heavy than Saw in the House of Monsters, but I did quite enjoy this one. I hope you're staying up to date with this one too. My favourite VTuber is Scary IRL, Volume 1, Square Enix. It's a very thin volume. I would say I was not that bothered. It is very similar to series like Now That We Draw, My Girlfriend's 8 Foot Tall, the like very bland male character, and then a very sexualized female character who is very suddenly head over heels in romance, in love with him, in romance. Remember I said I wasn't feeling well? That's my excuse. And yeah, basically it turns out his favourite VTuber is a shut-in and doesn't know how to talk to people, and he drops off food for her through the delivery service that she orders from, and she tries to practice social conversations with him, and he's like, I'm going to help you and help you improve talking to people, and they like make an outing to the convenience store and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the premise. That is it. These series, I mean, besides the fact I'm so obviously not the target demographic for this. I mean, there's so many series that I'm not the target demographic for and I still enjoy, but I find these sort of series just have so little substance, and what's left just isn't to my tastes. And I know a lot of people out there do love series like this, so if you do like series like Now That We Draw and My Girlfriend's 8 Foot Tall and the other ones I can't remember off the top of my head, then you'll probably like this one. It just was not for me. Maybe if it's super cheap. I do like seeing people try to improve, like Komi. I love seeing Komi and her doing better. But I would say, first and foremost, I don't feel the main plot of this is the main character trying to do better with her like social skills and talking to people. I feel like it's the romance between her and the guy, and I'm just not that bothered. The last volume I have to talk about, and I finished reading this about 5 minutes before I started recording, was Centuria Volume 1, a new series from Viz under the SIG line, if it will show up in the light. I went into this completely blind. I had no clue what it was about. I'm still uncertain. So the premise is this guy, this kid, he's like 16 or something, has snuck onto on board a ship filled with slaves with the hope that he would be able to get to the other end, the continent, wherever they're going, and make for a better life. Even if it means he gets lumped in with the slaves, even if he now is a slave, it would still be a better life than what he's currently going through. We learn that he was sold into slavery by his mum at a very young age. He was sold to a blacksmith. He has some skills that way, but otherwise, I think that's all we really know about him. And then on this ship, there is 100 other slaves, and they've all been bought by this shipman, pirate, captain, I don't know, boatman, and his crew to then sell on the continent when they get there. Unfortunately, they hit some terrible weather, and they realize they need to lighten the load of the ship to be able to get out the other side, and like move the ship out of the way, basically. So they decide to off all of the slaves and throw them overboard because they are all a bit, what's the word he uses? Damaged. That's what he uses. Like they're old, or too young, or disabled, or there is a woman that's pregnant as well. And this guy here has made quite close friends with the woman who is pregnant. He initially is a bit confused because as far as he knows, mothers would sell on their children, and this pregnant lady is like, no, not all mothers, just yours. Oh, well, yours is not like all of them. There are good people out there. So there's a lot about like some of the setup is there are good people out there. There is people with humanity and who love and care and all that kind of jazz. Instill that into him, and then hit bad weather and they throw all the slaves overboard. And the last two standing is him and the pregnant mum. And then this weird like kraken thing comes out of the water and is like, I have taken your sacrifice of 100 souls. I now need you to lose someone that you love and I will grant your wish. And the mum is like, cool, I'll do that. Cuts the baby out of her, hands it over to him and is like, look after my baby, keep well, basically. Well, a bit more dramatic than that, but I'm not going to go into like real sad dramaticness right now. And then the Kraken's like, cool, right, what do you want for your wish? And he's like, I want to, what does he say exactly? I want to prove that their lives weren't worthless. And yeah. So what that's apparently meant is that this guy now has all of the vitality, strength, lives of the 100 people that went overboard. And he's now really, really strong and has 100 lives. So he beats up all the pirates on board, all the people on the ship, and then gets in a ship with the baby and they set sail for land. And then they get to land and he's now trying to make a life with some people that he's found on land and the baby. It was called Diana. I don't remember his name. Julian. He's called Julian. And the baby, which is called Diana. And that's the premise. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel yet. It's a very, not premise I think I was expecting. I think I expected it to be like more supernatural. I think because like the things around his eyes, but that's what happens to his face when he's using the like strength or ability. Ability's not quite right. He's using the strength of the 100 people that's what happens to his face to like highlight that's what's happening. It is quite, I feel, a heavy topic, so I would say just yeah, have a think for yourself if you'd be up for reading this kind of thing. I haven't really read any reviews for it because I'd seen a lot of people were hyping like, ooh, Centuria's coming, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna avoid anything so I can go in blind. And I think going in blind has just left me going, I don't really know, it's quite a heavy topic. And I feel volume 1 kind of just ended. I'm a bit confused what's going on, what's gonna happen next. He's not, yeah, living, it's been, I think time is passing, the baby is growing up. I wouldn't mind if like we get a few years jump, maybe. I'm not sure. Again, if you have any thoughts, if you read it, leave them in the comments. I'd be interested to see, but I'm not sure yet. And there we have all 22 reads that I've read somehow in the last few days. Why am I putting it here? You can't see them here. I should put them here. I'm currently thinking I might try and do these like weekly reading vlogs to make it easier on me and I can talk more and it'd be all super fresh because like I read Centuria like literally finished it and I was like, okay, let me go get my phone and my light and let's do some chatting. So maybe we'll do that if I manage to keep the reading up. If I slow down a bit, I'll probably like stretch them out to still try and do about 20 reads. That seemed to be like a good amount. Well, 20 different series maybe. If you did like the video, remember to like and subscribe and check out my channel memberships for early access to all my videos. Though if I do manage to do one of these a week, a number of them might stay members only because I have other videos planned for the next month or so. We will see. I am really looking forward to doing more videos where I just talk about what I've read and I can share my thoughts because it's so nice and therapeutic and I hope you enjoy them too. But otherwise, I hope you have the most wonderful day and I will see you next time. Bye!